Hello students, this is Professor Faiz Raut from Jain College of Engineering, Department of MBA. I'm teaching subject mergers, acquisition and corporate restructuring. I'm in module 6. Students, in this sixth module, there is corporate restructuring. Okay, we are going to discuss meaning and significance of corporate restructuring and different forms of restructuring. Okay, for example, joint ventures, sell-off, spin-off, divestitures, equity carve-out, leverage buyout, management buyouts, master limited partnerships, and also limited liability partnership in India, its significance, its role, and its types, and also one small concept which is called buyback of shares. Okay, so let's begin. Well, corporate restructuring is a kind of change in the ownership or business mix or asset mix, an alliance with a view to enhance shareholders' value. Well, students, a business is there in the economy because it wants to maximize the profit or to maximize the shareholder value. If shareholders are happy, who are the owners, part owners of the company, if they are happy, then the company can grow and prosper in future as well. So to improve the shareholder value, these kind of changes are are done, and these kind of changes are called as restructuring of the corporate enterprise. Okay, and this restructuring also involves mergers and acquisition, leverage buyout, buyback of shares, spin-offs, sell-offs, etc. So using these kind of methodologies, this restructuring is done. Okay, and business restructuring involves reorganization of business units or divisions. Okay, and asset restructuring involves the acquisition or sale of the asset and their ownership structure. Okay, in corporate restructuring, the entire business can be restructured, can be sold off, or can be spun off, or the assets of the businesses can be sold or can be restructured, or some other company might be holding that asset, or it will be sold off to another company or something like that. Their ownership structure might be changed. So these are some of the methods in which corporate restructuring can be done. Okay, and why this corporate restructuring is required, what is the purpose of corporate restructuring, is to limit the competition. Okay, if there is much competition in the market, to avoid the competition, we can sell off our division which we are not able to, if we are not able to handle the competition, or we can buy that division from the other company. Okay, if the other company is not interested, or we can take over the division of that other company, or we can do some takeover tactics in order that our competition has been eliminated. Okay, so for these kind of operation, for limiting competition, corporate restructuring can be done. Next is utilize the underutilized market power. Okay, suppose our one of the market is not yet utilized, there is still scope of some new company to enter into the market and get the customers from the market. Okay, so in that case, we can buy a certain division of another company and can start the business in the market, or we can make our division separate entity and let it grow into that market, or we can improve the operations of that country or company, or the marketing capability of the company. We can improve that and tap the underutilized market as well. Third is overcome the problem of slow growth and profitability in one's own industry. Suppose we are having a huge conglomerate, and we are not, as a company, I'm not, as a conglomerate, I'm not able to handle all the companies in my conglomerate. So what I can do, I can just take one or two division which are performing fine, okay, performing fairly good than the other companies. I can make them into separate companies with separate management, with separate board of directors, so that they can grow fast. Because of this, my conglomerate, they were also growing slow. So in order for their fast growth or for their profitability, I can separate it out. Okay, then achieve diversification. Okay, to achieve diversification, I can buy certain divisions of another company or buy certain companies. I can diversify it into many industries. And to gain economies of scale, if I am doing a horizontal merger, if I am having a hotel industry and I am merging with another company who is also under hotel industry, so I can have a huge number of hotels, and I can economize on the scale of the availability of the rooms or of other hotel services to my clients. Okay, or else I am having a steel manufacturing unit, and if I'm buying another steel manufacturing unit, so my marketing the operation capacity will increase, my economies of scale will increase. Okay, next is empire building and to amass vast economic powers of the company. Now if I am a huge company, so I'll enter into each and every industry possible, so that my economic power, my conglomerate will be such a way, that means in such a way that in every industry my company will be there. Okay, so my business empire will be huge. So these are some of the reasons why corporate restructuring can be done. Okay, now there are different forms in which corporate restructuring can be done. Okay, for example, joint venture. Okay, when two companies are coming together for a particular venture, for a particular period of time, or for a particular market, or for a particular time period, they are forming a jointly they are forming a venture. It is not a kind of a merger or acquisition or the change of company legally, then company name is happening, so, and nothing like that. Only for a specific period of time or for a specific period of purpose, the two companies are coming together, that is joint venture. Next is divestures. Okay, divestiture is when one company is splitting up its operations. Okay, and then is corporate sell off. Okay, it is also kind of a divestiture, corporate sell off, in which I'll be selling off one of my division to another company. Corporate spin off. Corporate spin off is when I am taking one division of my company and forming it into a different company. Equity carve out. Equity carve out is when want to sell a division of a company or a company, but the other company doesn't have much cash. Okay, doesn't have much capital to give me now, so I can slowly, gradually, I can start selling them shares over a period of time, and then they can acquire my company. Then leverage buyout. Okay, when another company wants to take over my company, they will take loan and then buy my company. So using leverage, using loans, they are buying out my company. Then management buyout, when the management of the company or outside management of any company is buying my company, that comes under management buyout. Then master limited partnership, it's a kind of partnership which is a combination of partnership and a company. So it has benefits of partnership as well, and benefits of a company as well, and some of the disadvantages of partnership and some of the disadvantages of company are being removed from this kind of master limited partnership. Whereas in India, it is very hard to find this master limited partnerships. It is generally found in European and Americas. Then last is employee stock option ownership plans. Okay, well, is it is there in your syllabus or no? I am not sure of it, but I have included this. Okay, employee stock option ownership plans is the employees who are working in the organization, as an incentive, I'll not give them cash. Instead of cash, I'll give them shares of the company, so that they will be feeling as the owners of the company as well. And if they perform good, the company uh, benefits from their work, and company earns profit. That profit will be given to them as a dividend, so as they are the shareholders of the company. So in that way they'll be performing good, so employees are given the stock ownership plans. Okay, so I'll be explaining this, some of these, in the further slides. So let's begin with the first one. Okay, it says joint venture. A joint venture is a business enterprise undertaken by two or more person or organizations to share the expense and profit of a particular business project. Okay, so two companies or three companies will be coming together for a specific uh, project, okay, for a specific task, or for over a specific period of time, or maybe for a specific particular or a particular region, okay, then it is a joint venture. For example, Maruti Suzuki is a joint venture. Suzuki is a separate company which is operating throughout the world. Maruti is a company which was operating only in India. So Suzuki came in India, and whatever products they are manufacturing, the automobiles, the cars they are manufacturing within India, will be a joint venture collaboration with Maruti and Suzuki. So in India, we will be getting Maruti Suzuki branded cars, whereas that similar cars will be getting outside world, outside the country, with only Suzuki brand name. So only in particular market, only in India as a particular market, this joint venture is there, not for the entire world. Okay, now this is one of the kind of a joint venture example which I gave. There are different kinds of types of joint venture. Okay, two types I have included here. Okay, equity joint venture. It says a separate legal entity is formed by two companies undergoing joint venture. Okay, in this, two companies will form a separate legal entity. For example, Maruti Suzuki Limited. There was Maruti Udyog Limited, a different company. Suzuki Limited is a different company. When these two are coming together, they are forming a new legal entity which is called as Maruti Suzuki Limited. Okay, so this is a kind of a equity joint venture. There will be a non-equity joint venture as well, which is for technical service arrangement or franchisee or brand use agreements, management contracts, rental agreements, or one-time contracts. This non-equity venture will be there. Okay, just if two companies are there, one company doesn't want to get involved into the business, only they want to share their name or maybe their technical expertise or their franchisee, okay, or just their brand will be shared with the other company, and the entire operation will be carried out by the other company. So in this kind of a joint venture, it is non-equity. The ownership of the other is only there up to the franchisee sorry, the franchisee arrangement or the brand which they are giving, or the rental agreements which they are offering. Okay, okay, these are the four types of joint venture again I have mentioned. Okay, this is not there in the notes, so just pay attention. I'll send notes along with this later on, along with these types of joint ventures, and I'll not include this in online assessment. Okay, so relax. So four types of joint venture is: first one, project based joint venture. Okay, it says where the joint venture is done with the motive of completing some specific task. So only for a specific task, the companies will come together for this joint venture, and after this task gets over, this company may get separated. So example is Cipla. Okay, it's a traditional pharmaceutical manufacturer company, and another company is a Biocon company, which is a biotechnological firm. Now Cipla wants to utilize the research and development resources of Biocon to develop a particular type of a drug, okay, to particular type of medicine for treatment of some disease. Okay, now one way to achieve this objective is to buy Biocon. Okay, but in that case, Cipla indirectly is buying many other areas in which Biocon caters to. So Cipla doesn't want all the other businesses of Biocon. It just wants the research and development department. So what Cipla can do? Cipla can have a joint venture with Biocon, use their research and development resources, and in turn give Biocon some benefit, might be some in monetary terms. And once they develop this drug along with Biocon, then this drug can be marketed by Cipla, which has been manufactured in the R&D lab of Biocon. And after that drug gets sold only for that drug, when it has been marketed and sold in the market, this profit will be shared by both the companies. Okay, this can be done. And once that drug goes out of the market, or if they decide, okay, after the drug has been manufactured, we'll get separated and Biocon will receive its share of profits, then they can be separated. Only for this particular type of drug or this particular type of task, they have been under joint venture partnership. Okay, next is vertical joint venture. It says where the joint venture takes place between buyers and suppliers. Okay, so one example is Lincoln Corporation, okay, has made investment in certain machinery and capital instruments that required to produce buyer specific products. Okay, so they have some buyers and they are manufacturing the specific customized products for these buyers. Okay, since the investments made by the Lincoln exclusively to meet the needs of those buyers, okay, it can be any company. So by entering into a vertical joint venture with that company, Lincoln can avoid the uncertainty associated with the contract, which are usually for specific time period only and can lead to discontinued business. So only for certain specific products they have been made a joint venture with the buyers of the Lincoln Corporation. Okay, so next is horizontal joint venture. This says where the joint venture takes place between companies having the same line of business. Now, two companies are there who are in the same line of business. They are having a joint venture. Okay, for this, one example is Base International is an Indian company. Okay, which is specialized in steel business and caters to various kind of industrial units in India. And one more company is Frank LLC, ठीक है, limited liability company. This Frank LLC is a US based company who is specialized in molding of steel frames. Okay, and the two companies decide to enter into a horizontal venture. Why it is called horizontal? Because both are into a steel business. Okay, they are entering into horizontal business, horizontal venture, under which this Frank, the foreign partner, will offer technical collaboration or technical expertise and foreign components to this Base International, which is a Indian counterpart of this deal. Base International will make available site and local machinery and product parts which is locally available, and will help this foreign company to establish a good base in India, and then sell the products in the multiple markets. They can sell in India as well, or they can sell in foreign as well. So it is beneficial for both the companies. Okay, last one is functional based joint venture. It says where the joint venture is done with the motive of getting mutual benefit on the account of synergy. Okay, so this for example, there is a company which specializes in formulation business and has various patents trademarked under its name, but due to lack of funding it is unable to put such formulation for commercial usage. That means they have made something, this company, but they cannot make this for commercial purpose, as they don't have any money to manufacture this. And there is another company who is a cash rich pharmaceutical company. Okay, they are having lot of money but they don't have any patents or anything, but they have money. So these two companies can come together. First company can give its ideas, its trademarked products, and the second company can give cash, and they can manufacture the formulation or the drugs or whatever they want to manufacture. They can manufacture at a commercial quantity and they can sell in the market and share the profits. So only because of this functional benefit, these companies are forming a joint venture. Okay, so these are the additional types of 4 joint ventures I have mentioned. Okay, and why these joint ventures are done? Mainly some internal reason, like spreading of cost, avoiding some risk, or improving access to financial resources, like in the formulation business, which one I mentioned there, functional based joint ventures. Then, or to achieve economies of scale, okay, or advantage of size, or to access new technologies. Okay, which in the example of horizontal joint venture of Base and Frank company which I gave. Okay, some new technologies that Indian company was using of its foreign counterpart, and Indian company was helping to acquire site and all the local kind of availability. Okay, these might be the reasons. And another is competitive goals, influencing structural evolution or preempting competition. That means a company might be anticipating there will be a competition, so to avoid this competition they are entering into joint venture and making the product big. Or else a defensive response to blurring industry boundaries, okay, or creation of stronger competitive units. So these may be the some of the reasons of forming a joint venture. Now, benefits for the joint venture are partners save money and reduce their risk through capital and resource sharing. Okay, smaller companies get chance to work with larger companies. In this case, this example I want to give is Mercedes and Tata. Mercedes and Tata had a joint venture long back, and Mercedes taught Tata how to manufacture the engines of trucks. So, after knowing, and it was a good opportunity for Tata, as Tata Motors was a small company at that time, and Mercedes was a bigger company. So, Tata Motors got to learn many things from Mercedes, and now see the trucks of Tata are very well sold in the Indian market. Okay, next is increase sales, gain access to wider markets, and enhance technological capabilities through research and development. Okay, the pharmaceutical example which I gave of Cipla and Biocon. Okay, Cipla is a pharmaceutical company. They wanted to utilize the research and development part of Biocon Limited, so they shared their technologies. Okay, some examples I have given you here: Vodafone and Telefonica, and BMW and Toyota, Renault and Nissan. You can go through this. Okay, you will understand. Okay, now I'll come to divestitures or demerger. Okay, it says sale of a segment of a company, asset or a product line or a subsidiary to a third party for cash or other securities. This is called as a divestiture. Okay, I'm selling a segment of a company, or a part of a company, or an asset of a company, or a one product line of a company, or a subsidiary of my company to third party. Okay, in exchange of cash or securities. Okay, shares. Then it is called as a divestiture. Second, it is written, it is believed that the value will be enhanced by parting or divesting or demerging some of its asset, as they are either causing losses or yielding very low returns. Okay, if some business or some subsidiary is causing loss or not giving good returns, then I can sell off that and concentrate on my core business. Then next is the act of splitting off is part of an existing company to become a new company which operates completely separate from the original company. Okay, or I can make a certain subsidiary or certain division of my company into a new company, so that that company will run independently and can perform better, and I can focus on my core business and I'll perform better. Okay, even that is also called as a demerger or divestiture. Okay, and now why these divestitures are done, what are the motives behind divestitures? Is one of the motive is to raise capital. Okay, to increase the capital through divestitures we can use them. For example, Seat is a tire manufacturing company. So in this example, Seat sold its nylon tire cord plant at Gwalior to Shriram Fibers. Okay, why it sold, and it sold at a whooping price of 3000 million rupees. Okay, so that Seat could settle its outstanding loans and raise funds to concentrate on tire manufacturing. Okay, so Seat just wanted to sell this plant of Gwalior to Shriram Fibers in order that they get money to settle their outstanding dues and raise funds for to concentrate on their tire manufacturing. Okay, so next one is curtailment of losses. Okay, if suppose there is losses made by one of the division of a company, so they can sell off that division in order to curtail the losses, to reduce the losses. For example, Savlon was one of the division was sold by Johnson and Johnson. to ITC. So ITC bought this Savlon division from Johnson and Johnson, and Johnson was making loss on Savlon division. Okay, so to avoid this losses, they sold this Savlon to ITC. Next is a strategic realignment. Okay, strategic realignment is when the owners of that division feels that the unit which we are holding does not fit our strategic plan. Okay, does not, the brand image of our company in the minds of the customer is something else, and we are having something else. Okay, so there was a company which was called as a Sara Lee Corporation. Okay, this company mainly were into food and drink maker. So they were manufacturing some articles, some food products and some drinks. So this company had Brill cream as the product, which was totally different from their food and drink maker company. So the image of Sara Lee Corporation was a food into food and certain kind of food products and drinks was there. So Brill cream was not fitting their strategic plan. So what Sara Lee Corp did, they sold this Brill cream unit to Unilever. So Unilever is a a good FMCG company who is having the line of the business in many other categories. So Brill cream was a good buy for Unilever, and it was a good sell for Sara Lee Corp. Okay, next is inability to adopt new technology. Okay, so the best example I could find is Nokia. Okay, when Nokia was approached by Google to develop their operating system using Android, Nokia didn't adopt to their technology, and Nokia rather was developing their own operating system. So the adoption of new technology was very late. Later on, Nokia adopted this Android operating system in their phone as well, but it was very late. So it didn't click in the market, and Nokia eventually had to move out of the market and sell their company. Okay, then next is underperforming of labor, including managers. Okay, underperformance of labor, including managers. Okay, there was one of the company named as HMT. Okay, HMT was a public sector company of India which was manufacturing wristwatches. So this company had to close down. The government closed down this company because the managers were not performing very good, and they were not innovating with the watches, and they were not coming up with a new kind of watches which were prevalent in the market, which their competitors were making. So slowly, because of this underperformance, HMT started losing their market share, and because of this, the public sector unit had to be closed down, which was manufacturing watches, which was HMT. Okay, so these are different kinds of motives of divestitures. Now I come to forms of corporate divestitures. Well, there are three types of corporate divestitures important for your syllabus. First is corporate sell-off, corporate spin-off, and equity carve-out. Okay. Corporate sell-off is when I am having a division in my company which is not performing well, so I'll sell off that division to some another company. Okay, that is mean by corporate sell-off. I'm selling off one of the division which is not performing well, or if I don't want that division for some reason. For example, Sony had entered into laptop manufacturing or PC manufacturing business by buying Vaio company. So after certain period of years, you must have seen Sony Vaio laptops, white colored stylish laptops in which Kareena Kapoor used to endorse it. So she was the brand ambassador, but still Sony Vaio laptop didn't click in the market, and due to poor sales, Sony decided to sell off their laptop business to some another company, and this happened on 4th February 2014, and this is called as a sell-off by the Sony. Okay, second is corporate spin-off. Corporate spin-off is different from sell-off. Spin-off may you are having a company, there is one division which is performing good or maybe you are not able to concentrate on the business of that division. So you felt that if the division has been separated from the main business and that division has been made into a different company, and let it perform independently, then it will be beneficial for both your division as well and your core company as well. So this restructuring is called as a corporate spin-off. Okay, it was done by PepsiCo. PepsiCo had a company or had a division which was KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. Okay, so what PepsiCo decided, this grouped this KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell into a separate corporation or a separate company, and named it as a Tricon Global Restaurants. So under Tricon Global Restaurants Incorporation, all these three divisions will be there, and PepsiCo will concentrate on its core business. So now Tricon Global Restaurants Incorporation is now called as Yum Brands, YUM. So Yum Brands holds this three divisions, and indirectly this Yum Brands report to PepsiCo for any major kind of a decision, but it operates separately from PepsiCo. Okay, in spin-off also there are two different small types. Okay, one is split off. Split off means I'm splitting my company. Okay, and in this after this splitting off, the shareholders of the parent company will also be shareholders of the subsidiary company. Okay, the example is eBay making PayPal public in 2014. Okay, eBay is an online e-commerce company which had acquired PayPal eBay is a e-commerce company which had a division named as PayPal, which was for online payment, online gateway for a payment. Okay, so when Google and Apple Pay was launched, eBay thought, okay, we should separate PayPal and make it into a separate company. So the shareholders of eBay also were shareholders of PayPal. Okay, so for in this case, every one shareholder of eBay also got every one share of PayPal. So one shareholder was a shareholder of eBay as well as of PayPal. This happened in split off in case of eBay. Okay, next type is a split up. Okay, in a split up, the shares will not be split. Okay, in split up, there's one example: AT&T Wireless, AT&T Broadband, and AT&T Consumer, AT&T Business. Okay, these were different kinds of companies. 4 separate units was made into different kinds of companies, and it was a split up from the major parent company, which was AT&T. So AT&T was a parent company which got split up into 4 different businesses, and that parent company ceased to exist. It got closed down, and the shareholders of the parent company were offered shares of either of these 4 companies. So you need to surrender your parent company's shares in exchange for the new subsidiary companies. Okay, so this parent company distributes the stocks of subsidiary company and take in exchange for the outstanding stock of the parent company, and the parent company will liquidate from and will go out of the market. Okay, this is exactly opposite of the example which I gave of HCL. So there were so there were 4 companies: Hindustan Instruments Limited, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Hindustan Instruments Limited, and Indian Computers Company, Indian Reprographics Company. All these 4 companies were there, and they merged together to form HCL, Hindustan Computers Limited. In this case, that was a merger. Okay, in this case, there is one company which is named as AT&T. This got split up into four different companies, and the parent company ceased to exist. Okay, so this was about split up. Next is about equity carve out. Okay, equity carve out is when one company doesn't equity carve out. Okay, next is equity carve out. Equity carve out is that company is not selling any division, or it is not splitting up or splitting off and making a division into a separate company right now outright, but it is planning to do so, and it is not finding maybe buyers for doing so. So what this company does, first, this company, there are many options for this company. This company can go for an IPO, and then it can distribute the shares among the public, and its shareholding will reduce, and it can sell its shares to different major financial institutions or major companies, corporate houses as well. So slowly this is going to divest the shareholding of the owners, will be divesting the shareholding in this company into public or into different financial institutions or different corporate houses. So slowly it is doing a demerger or divesting from this company, and later on they can totally come out of this, and the majority shareholder will be some of the corporates who is buying the shares of this. So slowly it is divesting. Okay, and not like a sell off or spin off, that suddenly one division or one company is splitting off or selling off a division. So in equity carve out, slowly the carving will happen. Slowly the equity, the ownership will be carved out of the business. Okay, for example, ConocoPhillips, the nation's third largest oil company at that time, reported that it planted to carve out itself into two separate public entities. Okay, this happened in July 14, 2011. Okay, next topic is leveraged buyout. Okay, leveraged buyout is acquisition of one company by another company, typically with borrowed funds. Okay, another possible form of leveraged buyout occurs when investors borrow from banks using their own assets as collateral to acquire another company. Okay, if I take an example, if one company ABC Limited is trying to buy Faiz Limited. Okay, that ABC Limited doesn't have money to buy Faiz Limited, but that ABC Limited is very much interested in buying Faiz Limited. So what ABC Limited can do, it can borrow some funds from banks and then can buy Faiz Limited, or it can keep its asset as collateral with the bank and can take money and buy Faiz Limited. So this kind of a buyout is called as a leveraged buyout. Okay, there are types of leveraged buyout. First is management buyout. Okay, a management buyout is a form of acquisition where a company's existing managers buy or acquire a large part of the company. Okay, who are the existing managers who are working in the company, they are buying the shares of a company in such a large part that they will become the majority shareholders, and they'll become the owners of the company, the managers. Okay, so if that is the case, then it is called as a management buyout. Okay, second type is management buy-in. Okay, it says a management buy-in occurs when a manager or a management team from outside the company raises the necessary finance, buys it, and becomes the company's new management, and but leaves the existing management team in place. That means there are managers or management team of another company who is coming to acquire, to buy this company. Okay, it raises finance somehow and it buys this company, the and keeps the existing management in the place, but they become the owner of the company. For example, Faiz Limited is very good company which ABC Limited is planning to buy. So the managers of ABC Limited, not the owners, okay, the management team, the managers of ABC Limited have raised finance, have collected cash, and then they are buying shares of Faiz Limited in such a way that they became the owners of Faiz Limited. Okay, they'll not remove the management team of Faiz Limited, which is presently working, but they'll become the owners now. This is called as management buy-in. Okay, so just keep in mind what is management by out and what is management by in. How management buyout is the existing management of the company buying the company. Management buy in is the outside managers who are buying another company. Okay, third is going private. Going private is just that a public company is becoming a private company. Okay, it is moving out of stock market. It is approaching all the shareholders that we are going to become a private company, and the its market its share prices or the shareholdings in the stock markets will go off, and that company will become a private company. Its shares are no longer listed on stock exchanges. Okay, next, only few points are remaining. Next is master limited partnership. Okay, it says master limited partnership is a limited partnership that is publicly traded on stock exchanges. Okay, now partnership firm is where there are different partners who have invested their time or money or a brand name or brand value, or just their name. Okay, whatever the type of partnership is, all are equally liable, and all are the share have the shares in the profit. Okay, but this partnership cannot be listed on stock exchanges. For anything to be listed on stock exchange, it should be a company. Okay, so but master limited partnership comes somewhere between the company and between partnership. Okay, it combines the tax benefit of a limited partnership with the liquidity of publicly traded securities. So it can be listed on stock exchanges, so it will have liquidity, and also it will have a tax benefit which is being received by the partnership firm. So it is somewhere in between a company and a partnership. Okay, there are two classes of partners in master limited partnership. Limited partners. Limited partners are those who purchases shares in MLP. Means they are the actual kind of owners, ठीक है, main partners of master limited partnership who have put their money into this partnership firm. Okay, so they will be getting maximum shares out of it, maximum profit out of it. And another type of partners in this are general partners. Okay, these partners are responsible for day-to-day operations of the master limited partnership firm. Okay, so they are kind of employees. Okay, so those who are looking out day-to-day operations, they have not put any money into that. They are only putting their effort into that, or their technical know-how or managerial know-how into that. So they are kind of employees in that. Okay, so there are two kinds of partners in master limited partnership. Okay, next is a limited liability partnership of generally of India. We are going to discuss regarding that. Okay, limited liability partnership, the concept is the LLP is an alternative business form that gives the benefits of limited liability of a company and flexibility of partnership as well. Okay, now the previous slide which we have discussed about master limited partnership, that doesn't exist in India. Okay, there is very, I didn't as per my knowledge, there is no master limited partnership in India. So instead of master limited partnership, we have limited liability partnership. Okay, as a normal partnership firm, in a normal partnership firm, the partners who are there, they have unlimited liability. Okay, and everyone is liable for anything which has been happening in this partnership firm. Whereas in limited liability partnership, the liability of the partners are limited to a certain extent. It is a kind of a company as well. So this master limited sorry, so this limited liability partnership is capable of entering into contracts or holding property in its own name. Okay, which is a characteristics of a company. And this limited liability partnership is a separate legal entity. Okay, and no partner is liable on account of independent or unauthorized action of other partners. So this is the advantage of limited liability partnerships. Okay, it is similar to a company. And the structure of LLP will be it will be a separate body corporate and a separate legal entity, and it will have a perpetual succession. So some of the characteristics of company and some of the characteristics of a partners will be there under this. So advantage is that it will provide a flexibility without posing detailed legal and procedural requirements which is required for company. So some of the disadvantages of company will be eliminated in this LLP. Okay, and many other companies as well, along with India, many other companies have LLPs, and some companies have MLPs, master limited partnerships. Okay, so what is the difference between LLP and traditional partnership is, uh, in traditional partnership, every partner is liable for whatever other partner has done. Okay, and also he's liable, he's entitled to get profits, he's liable for any losses. Okay, and as other partners, and if the partners are leaving the firms, then that partnership firm gets dissolved unless other partner adds into it. And if a new partner wants to add into this partnership firm, a traditional partnership firm, every other partner should give permission for that. Okay, so there are many kinds of restriction under traditional partnership which has been removed in this limited liability partnership. Okay, so this was about limited liability partnership and how it is different from a company and a traditional partnership firm. Okay, not that important from the exam point of view, but you should know the meaning of it because it might come for maybe for 3 marks or something, or maximum 7 marks to concept to explain the what is there in this. So you can explain the concept, the structure, the advantages, and the difference between LLP and traditional partnership firm and a company as well. Okay, now this is the last slide. This is about buyback of shares. Okay, it says the repurchase of outstanding shares by a company, okay, in order to reduce the number of shares on the market. Okay, now before going to objectives, I'll just explain the reason behind this on the concept of share market. Now there's a company which is a public company. Its shares is listed on stock exchanges. All the public is having the shares of that company. Now that company is doing very well in the market. Its share price is increasing. Now, as the company is very well doing in the market, it is distributing dividends, the profits of the company. Now this dividends is distributed to all the shareholders. Now the company is feeling that the profits, why we need to share the profits to all the shareholders? Better we will buy the shares of the company and reduce the shareholding capacity of the company in the market. The capitalization will reduce it, so that whatever profits we are generating in the course of time, we can keep most of the profits with us and not distribute in the form of a dividends to large amount of shareholders. Instead, small amount of shareholders will get the profits. Okay, this is the basic reason for buyback of shares. Another basic reason for buyback of shares is when the company is not performing. Okay, when company is not performing, its share price is going down. Okay, and it is not good for any company if the share price of that company is going down. So and when share price goes down, when there is no buyers in the market, only sellers are there who are trying to sell the shares of the company, no buyers are there. So company itself becomes the buyer of its shares in the stock market. So company will approach the sellers and request them to sell the shares back to the company itself and at a good price. So sellers will be interested in selling their shares to the company, as they are not interested in keeping the shares with them. So by this, as the company is buying back the shares, the buyers will increase in the market, okay, which is the company, and the sellers are already there. So as the increase in the buyer, the share price of that company will not fall further. It may increase as well, because the share price is been the shares is been purchased at a good share price by the company. So this can be one of the reason. And also when share price goes below certain limit for a certain period of time, the company can be delisted from the market. The NSE and BSE, in case of India, NSE and BSE will tell the company to go out of the share market as you are not performing well. So to avoid even that, buyback of shares can be done. Now, what are the objectives of the buyback? This covers whatever I have explained. To increase the promoter holding. Okay, the owners of the company who have started the company, the promoters, if they want to increase their shareholding in the company, they can buy the shares from the public and increase their holding, so that the profits will not be shared. Second is to increase the earnings per share. Okay, so earnings per share, if you remember the formula, if you have seen those videos, earnings per share is the total earnings of that company divided by the number of shares. So number of shares is in denominator. If the number of shares, outstanding shares, is been reducing, then my earnings per share will increase. And one thing you just remember, when the buyback of shares is happening, that share is been uh, nowhere in the market. The share is not outstanding. Okay, it's in the treasury of the company. So if a company is having 1 lakh shares in the market outstanding, and that company is buying 10,000 shares, okay, from the market, now those shares will be only 90,000 outstanding in the market. Those 10,000 shares will be nowhere to be found. It is there in the treasury. So if we are calculating EPS, then only 90,000 shares will be taken. So our EPS will be more because the denominator has been reduced. Okay, next is rationalize the capital structure. So definitely uh, uh, to change the capital structure, to modify the capital structure, what is the debt, what is the equity. So I am changing the equity here. So the cost of equity will get reduced, so it will have effect on weighted average cost of capital, and all the different financial terms will financial ratios will also change by just a small buyback of shares decision. The next is support share value. Okay, if share value is falling, company can enter into the market to buy shares so that the share value will not drop further. And to thwart takeover bid, that means to protect takeover bid, to protect the takeover of the company, I'll reduce the number of shares in the market, so that the takeover so the company which is coming to take over my company will not found many shares in the market to become a majority shareholder. Okay, this I have explained in the previous module, fifth module, in detail. Okay, next is to pay surplus cash not required by the business. Okay, now this business has been generated a huge amount of profit in the terms of cash. Now this cash is lying idle in the company, and this cash is getting distributed in the form of dividends, and every year it is happening like that. So to avoid this, company can use that cash to buy shares from the market. Okay, and instead it avoids sharing of the profits of the company from the next year onwards to these shareholders. Okay, and next is last one is best strategy to maintain the share price in a bear run. Okay, similar to what support share value says. Okay, when there is a bear run means when the stock market is going down. Okay, so when stock market entire is going down, but our company has been performed good, but because of the negative sentiments in the market, the entire stock market is going down, so share price of our company as well is going down. So when that is happening, uh, the share, we know that our company's performance is good, and our share price will increase after certain days or certain months. So we'll buy the shares at a lower price, as the stock market has been fallen. We'll buy the shares at a lower price and we'll keep it. And when our share price will increase, our value also will increase after certain months or certain days, whenever the share price will increase. So it is a best strategy. We can make use of our cash when the share price is dropping. We'll get into the market as the buyers of our own shares of our company. So this is one of the types of one of the reasons or objectives of buyback of shares, or also called as share repurchase. Okay, so this is the end of sixth module. Thank you for your patient listening.